Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this new series uh, of commentary, I'm going to be talking about being a family caregiver and the issues that family caregivers face and possible solutions to certain things, some things that won't work out even if you try your best. And that's going to be most of them, because no matter how much advice you get from other family caregivers, no matter how many books you read, every circumstance is different. Every family dynamic is different. Sure, there's a lot of common ground, but for the most part, everything is different for each individual case. Now, I'm going to talk in this episode about my caregiver morning. I made another video about a caregiver, family caregiver morning, but this one was interesting. And it's not about the morning, it's because it's morning for me because I haven't slept. I did sleep for about 2 hours and I couldn't sleep. I'm constantly watching my father over here. Yeah, I have a camera in his bedroom and I'm watching him because there's something going on with him. Yesterday, he began to exhibit behavior which was scared to some degree and shaky because he couldn't go to the bathroom. Number two, my father has a indwelling catheter, Foley catheter, and he wears a urine bag, and I have to empty that bag several times a day, 3 to 4 times a day minimum. But he couldn't go number 2, and he was constipated, and at the same time was refusing to drink fluids. Even when I was giving him laxatives, he refused to drink any fluids. I can't handle anymore. I can't take anymore. That kind of thing. It got to the point where he kept going to the bathroom and he was getting weaker and weaker because my father is 90 years old and not very active. So he doesn't have a lot of stamina or strength anymore. Excuse me. He was on the toilet, struggling, could not go, and acting very frightened, which was an odd behavior for him. And he hadn't mentioned being constipated before. So something was going on there. So I had to, I'm not going to get into all the specifics, but I had to give him a standing enema where he stood up and I inserted the enema tube and then let him mostly sit down and hold on and hope, trying to flush out whatever the blockage was. And we did this several times and got very messy. And didn't seem to work. So he had to clean him up and I let him lay down in bed for a while. Then I got up got him up later to make him drink, and I really had to force him to drink. But I had to clean the bathroom and clean the floors and disinfect this and that. And I went over to the store and bought adult Depends, diapers, just in case. My dad doesn't need them. So far doesn't need them, but I bought it anyway just in case he was going to have diarrhea, because there was a point after the enema where he was standing up and I was cleaning him off when stuff came out. So I was concerned that would happen in the bed. It didn't, so thankfully, he didn't need to wear the adult diaper. But all of that, I think, relates to him having a possible UTI, urinary tract infection. Now, I usually test him with test strips for urinary tract infection, and it's always in the middle range, or lower range. The colors on the test strips. My dad's prone to UTIs, and so he hasn't had one in a long time. But I'm beginning to think now that he has one because of his behavior, his anxiety over the constipation, weakness, his refusal to drink. That's behavioral thing. I think that all relates to having a UTI. And I did a test strip, and the colors are a little darker than they normally are. So I have to, going to have to get him in to be tested for a UTI. What I'm probably going to do is collect from the urine bag into a sterile cup and take it over to his doctor's office and have them test it. I don't think he's going to be able to go over there with me in this current condition. Now, that's just part of it. The real part of my caregiver morning is, I already knew from yesterday, is everything came down and at once on me. I have a dental appointment this morning at 9 a.m. I need to go to that. And then I'm going to have a senior helper who comes in and helps me with Dad. She's going to be here at 1:30. Thankfully. I hope she shows up because sometimes she doesn't if she's sick or she has an issue or whatever. But at the same time, I've got physical rehab coming out for Dad because I have him back on the schedule for rehab because he had declined physically so much that the nurses and the doctor said he needs physical rehab again. So we're having that going on. At the same time, tomorrow or today at between 12 and 1, they're going to be delivering a hospital bed for my father. So I need to move his existing bed over so they can put the hospital bed in. And I get it all apart. And then between 4 and 6, the company I hired to come take his old bed away is coming to do that. They got to do all this. And by the way, if you ever have to get rid of your bed, it's probably going to cost you about $200 to have your old bed carted away. Especially if you don't have a lot of time. When I got the call about the hospital bed being delivered, they called me and basically said we'll be there tomorrow. So I had very little time to get this arranged. So that's what's going to happen this morning with me and Dad and everybody else. Fingers crossed the senior helper shows up. And fingers crossed the bed shows up because the other guys are coming to take the bed away. And if they don't deliver the first bed, the hospital bed, I'm going to have to cancel or postpone the other people, and they're going to charge me more money. A never-ending thing. Now, not every day is going to be like that, but there are variations of it where you have to worry about anything happening or you got to watch every type of behavior. Like I was watching Dad this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's been on all night. I was watching him, kept tossing and turning and tossing and turning. And then I saw him get up, try to get up. That's when I went in there, and his leg bag, his urine collection bag, was full. So I emptied that. And then at 6:30 this morning, because I got such a busy morning, I got Dad up to take his medications and get some fluid in him. She only drank half of what I gave him. But at 6:30, his bag was full again. His urine bag was full again. So something's going on there. That usually doesn't happen that way. But one of the things about that you'll notice when you become a family caregiver, especially with an elderly relative with dementia or Alzheimer's, is you get down to a routine. You got a schedule. You got everything set up. Everything is going smoothly, and bam, everything hits you at once and knocks you off that schedule. You try, and it seems like every time you have a personal medical appointment or a personal thing that you need to do, which is very little time for that if you're a solo family caregiver, something happens with your loved one, person you're caregiving for, or somebody calls you and they're going to show up to change the catheter bag and they didn't give any notice. Medical profession doesn't really treat you with any regard as a caregiver. They don't. They don't give you any notice. They argue with you about things. Because they're dealing with, in their records, your loved one, the person they're caregiving for. That's the person they're, even if you've got power of attorney and medical power of attorney, and you're the one that's in charge of everything, they still kind of act like you're just an accessory to this whole thing, when you're the primary, not the accessory or the secondary. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this series of videos. Not just about today, about what goes on and how it affects you personally as a caregiver. Not so much what goes on with your loved one, because what's going on with them is something that you will know it when you see it, and you will understand it to some degree. You will know things are going to happen, but with us as a caregiver, you don't see what's coming until you're in it, and no one else, your family, your friends, your employers, the government, medical professionals, they don't understand what happens to you. And you need to protect yourself in many different ways. And don't get into a trap unless you have no other choice. And it always feels like you have no other choice, but there are choices that you need to make. But that's what my series is going to be about, the Family Caregiver series. And this is episode 1 of hopefully more than a few. And I will get into more meaty parts of it in the next video. Thank you for visiting my channel, and I hope you will come back and visit me again. Take care, and I'll see you later.